guys, welcome to this hip class, this short sweet sequence. You might not need anything, but if a block is a part of your practice, or if you have a block handy, then I would recommend grabbing one, or something maybe you can use as a block, like a video. People have videos still? Mine are in my attic, but I don't have a video player, just videos. Anyway, something that you can use as a block, a book, whatever. Place it next to you. Let's come onto our backs, roll back, and just come straight into our happy baby position. Taking the outer blades of the feet, the ankles, or the backs of the thighs. Wherever you can, just to split the knees open and pull the knees towards the armpits. And if you feel comfortable, just rocking from side to side. And here I just want you to focus on what's relevant to you. So stay in your happy baby pose. If you think you have a weak pelvic floor, I want you to focus on activating the pelvic floor as you exhale. If you feel like your pelvic floor you find it hard to relax your pelvic floor and you hold a lot of tension in that space, then I really want you to focus on breathing into the belly and inhaling and softening that space. And as you exhale, you don't draw in all the pelvic floor. So whatever you can inhale and exhale, and if you're not really that aware of if yours is too tight or if it's too weak, or if you're just in this perfect balance, then come into an inhale, relax, and an exhale, draw in. Inhale to soften and exhale to draw in, paying attention to which one feels like you need, that you will benefit from the most. So taking a few breaths like this, just breathing in and out. Inhaling and exhaling. If you feel balanced, you can rock from side to side. We're going to come back to this breathing and engagement and relaxation of the pelvic floor at the end of the class, but just pay attention to which one you need and see if you can incorporate that engagement or relaxation in some of the movements that we do today. So taking your feet down, releasing your hands from wherever they are on your body, taking your left leg forward and crossing your right leg over it. And this may be enough for you, and you can bring the knees close to the body or grab the feet. If that's a problem for you, grab the ankles or grab the tops of the knees, wherever you can grab. And then I want you to feel like you're pushing your knees away from your body, so your knees trying to line up with your hips as much as possible, and then your feet reaching up in line with your knees as well. Tucking the chin under and flattening the lower back. You feel like you're drawing the feet towards you, but the knees are pushing away, and holding wherever you are. If you feel a stretch, then you are doing it right. Don't worry if you don't look like a pretzel. That is not the aim. The aim is to just open up your body, which if you feel the stretch, you are doing. 2 more deep breaths in and out. You can exhale through the nose or through the mouth, whatever resonates with you. Another breath in. Exhale, release the toes, slowly release and swap over, right foot behind the left, cross over and grab, pull up and away, tuck the chin. Coming into your variation of this pose. You can even use straps across the feet if you want to, if you can't feel much by grabbing your knees. Notice your chin wants to come back. Draw it down if you can. 2 more breaths in and out. See if you can push a bit deeper, lift the ankles a bit higher. Another breath in. And exhale. Release. Draw the knees into the chest. Take the fingertips to the backs of the thighs and rock up. Crossing over the legs, coming onto all fours. Tabletop position on your mat. Shoulders are above wrists, hips are above knees. Try not to arch the lower back, you want a slight engagement. So draw the pubic bone towards the rib cage, shorten that space, and the lower back should flatten out. Gaze towards the left, and as you gaze to the left, you push your hips to the left. So lean the bottom body to the left and take your gaze. Inhale back to center. Exhale to the right. Feel like the nose and the hip are trying to meet in the midline. Inhale to center. Exhale, side. Inhale to center. Exhale, side. Again, inhale to center. And exhale, side. Last one on the right. Inhale. And exhale. Tucking the toes under, lifting up onto the knees. Taking your right foot forward. If you have any pain in your left knee, or you have any kind of weakness or vulnerability in this left knee, then maybe you need to place a towel under the left knee. You're going to take your block and place it to the right of you, just next to the right hip. If you don't have something, just place something next to you, or take yourself to a sofa or a chair so you can rest your hand on that surface. You're going to knee over ankle, isometrically draw the right heel in, and you'll feel the hamstring fire up, and you'll feel a lift through your body. Lengthen through your waistline. Tuck the core in and feel a lift, a zipping up at the front of the body. Inhale, the left arm comes up. Keep that core engagement. Exhale, rest the right hand on the block and reach the left fingertips over towards the right. Rotate the left rib cage open and reach. Rest on the block. Push through that right heel. Draw the right heel towards the back of the mat and hold it here. Pressing into the left knee. Opening up this left hip flexor, pull the right hip back, the left hip forward slightly. Your left glutes should be active. Deep breath in. Exhale back to center. Shimmy that right foot forward and just bend into the knee. Keeping a lift up, so thinking of drawing the heels and feet in towards the center of the mat and sinking into this left hip. You can interlace your fingers and press into the right thigh. Deep breath in. Engage the glutes, go a bit deeper. Push the body up. Flex the right toes as you take the weight back. You might need to shimmy this right foot forward so the left hip stays on top of the left knee. You can use your block for support. Inhale, lengthen the spine, squeeze the inner thighs together, and that left hip should rotate forward slightly, the right hip back. Hinge forward, so the sternum is drawing towards the mat. Toes are flexing towards the shin. Externally rotate the femur, so from the top of the leg, from the top of the right thigh, you're just going to drop out and go a bit deeper. You'll feel a nice stretch along the inside of the right leg. Watch those hips. Maybe you have to slightly modify them back and you'll feel a deeper stretch. Breathing in. Reach the fingertips away from the body and tuck the head under slightly and find length within the spine. Walking the hands back underneath the shoulders. Bring the right foot back to center. Draw it back slightly so the right foot is on the mat. So you're going to take your hands to the inside of the right leg and lean into the hip. So you can take your hands down to the mat, slide that back leg away from you slightly. If you can, take your forearms down to the mat or your forearms down to your block. You'll notice that the left forearm is easier to draw down than the right. Try and square the shoulders down. Don't worry if the inside of the right foot lifts off. Just do what feels nice for you. Maybe you want to push yourself and feel like what is more intense. Try and relax the hips. Take your breath back to that engagement or relaxation of the pelvic floor, whichever one you need to practice. Breathing in. Breathing out. If you're on your forearms, walk your hands underneath your shoulders to lift your chest up. Shift the weight into the left hand and lift your right arm up. Turn the body to the right slightly and then exhale. Take your right hand and press it to the inside of the right thigh. The inner right foot will lift off of the mat. You rotate the shoulder to the right and relax the hips. Feel heavy in the hips. Push the knee away as you roll the right shoulder open. Maybe you can take your gaze behind you slightly. Lift the chin away from the chest. If your left wrist is hurting, then come into a fist. Think about creating space between the right knee and the right shoulder. Slowly release your push on the right leg, but you're going to flex the back foot under. If you have knee issues, make sure you're resting the knee on a blanket or a cushion or something. You're going to flex the right foot and draw the right foot gently and slowly in towards the left glute. Point the toes. You can use a strap if you need to. Lift the right arm up as we inhale. And then exhale, roll the right shoulder open and grab the outside of the left foot. You're going to sink the hips, push the foot into the hand. You'll feel the left glute fire up and then draw the heel in towards the glute. Roll the right shoulder open. Again, test your limitations. Breathing in and out. Gently release, flex the left foot, and it will gently lower down towards the mat. Roll and circle, windmill the right arm over, and push back and heel toe this right foot to the left side of the mat. Setting up for pigeon pose, I'll show you the modification first. So modification is just dropping down to your hips and having a kind of 90-90 in the hips, in the legs. This is kind of like called a dancer's pose. They used to do it in dance, dancers splits. Bringing a 90-90 to your legs, rotate the left shoulder and hinge forward. This might be enough for you in your hip. I mean, you can rest on your hands if that's enough for you, or even being in this space is enough. Use cushions underneath your knees if you need to. Coming into pigeon pose if you can. So the right foot is to the left side of the mat, the right knee is dropped to the right side, left wrist is in line with the ankle of the right foot, right hand is in line with the knee. You're on the ball of the back foot and you pivot your hips forward, so you want the hips facing to the front of the mat. This right hip wants to draw back and the left hip wants to lift up. Resist that. Untuck the toe, lift up the kneecap, and find a kind of active pose where you're lifting up through the leg and then dropping it down. Once you found your positioning, you can relax into it, maybe coming to the palms of the hands, maybe using your block, coming onto the forearms. Make sure that hip doesn't drop right. Pull that left hip forward, or maybe you can come down onto your forearms or onto your forehead. We're going to take 5 deep breaths wherever we are. So breathing in, breathing out. Try and relax that right hip completely. Relax the face. Try and find some enjoyment as we breathe through the stretch. Don't resist. One last breath in. One last breath out. Try and relax a bit more. Think about surrendering into this posture. Wherever you are, walking the hands back underneath the shoulders. tucking the back foot under and peeling the foot back and coming into a child's pose. Knees split, big toes together, extended child's pose, reach the arms forward, bow the head. Take your awareness to the hips, move your hips from left to right, and just notice which hip feels different or where you feel more open. One side might be tighter than the other, or you might notice there's more restrictions as we move into this different side, or you might be more open. Walking the hands back, lifting your chest up, coming onto your knees, placing the left foot forward. Grab your block and just place it next to the left side, in line with the left hip. Pushing through the right heel and the right knee. Use a towel underneath the knee if you need to. Lengthen through the waist, shoulders are square. Isometrically draw the left knee and heel back towards the mat, and you should hopefully feel this hamstring fire up. Engage your core, zip up through the midline. Gazes forward. Inhale the right arm up. And exhale, lean over. Notice that your body wants to kind of make a moon shape. Try and stay in the midline and think about lifting up and over as you root the right knee down towards the ground, drawing that left heel back. Rotate the rib cage forward as the right rib cage will want to cover the face. The right arm will. It does open up. Take your awareness to the right hip flexor. Think about lengthening through that space from the knee to the fingertip. Inhale, lift back up to center. Exhale, left foot steps forward and we lean into the leg. You can come onto the ball of the back foot if you want to, or have it untucked. The ball will just give you a bit more protection of your knee if your knees are vulnerable. Bending into the hip, relax and be heavy in the hips, and then scoop everything together underneath you so you feel supported. Interlace your fingers, push the chest up, sink a bit deeper. Maybe have a slight chest lift. You'll feel the right glute engage. If you don't, then fire it up to protect the lower back. Breath in, breath out. Notice if your hip wants to veer open on that right side. Think about dropping that right hip in and lowering it down. Breath in. Exhale, push the weight back, flex in the left foot and lean forward and hinge. Keep this right hip over the right knee. Use the block if you need to. Lengthen through the spine. And then exhale, hinge the sternum towards the mat. Pull the left hip back and the right hip forward. Keep flexing the toes towards the face, even this pinky toe, drawing it back towards the shin. Externally rotate the left femur. Keep flexing the left toes, so just dropping the left toes out to the left side of the mat, pulling this left heel up towards the hips. Don't round in your spine. If you want to, you can take your hands off of the block, walk your hands forward, push the hips back as you drop the gaze slightly. Again, try not to round too much, and you have activation through the right knee. Taking your hands underneath your shoulders, bringing the left foot back slightly and stepping it down. Hands walk forward to the inside of the left leg. And you just push the back knee away from you and feel heavy in the hips. Lizard pose. You can have the foot parallel or you can have it external. Play around with it, see where you need the stretch, but as you do these stretches regularly, I would alternate between kind of parallel, external, and taking the heel off. So you're just working the same area, but you'll get a different sensation. Maybe going down to your forearms, using the block if you want to. Breathing in and out. Take your awareness to your left hip and just try and relax it completely. And then if you need to engage your pelvic floor for support, you can engage it. Always think of softening it even more. Smile. Connect to that breath that you're breathing in. Try not to think about anything else. Try not to even think about the pain that you're experiencing. Just breathe in that nice cooling inhalation through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. Have a sense of release as you let go and relax a bit more. Walking your hands underneath your shoulders. So you push your chest up. Inhale the left arm up. And exhale, push the left knee away from the body. Roll the left shoulder open. Maybe have a slight lift in the heart. Try and create space between the left knee and the left shoulder. You should feel your right glute fire up. Slowly release your push on the left leg. Inhale the left arm up again. Flex the right toes. Draw the right knee in gently. Rotate the left shoulder back. Take your gaze with it. Point the toes. Take the outside of the left foot. Create a fist with the hand if you're getting a bit achy in the wrist. Allow the left shoulder to rotate open. Drop the hips. Feel like you're having a kind of lift and push the foot into the hand. Feel the glutes fire up and then pull the foot in towards the glutes. It is a little bit tense. It's quite intense. Again, we're just gonna focus on the breathing. So breathing in, breathing out. Everything we do in our movements is temporary. So you're only going to hold this for a moment. You can do this. You can hold it. You can maybe go a bit deeper. Last breath in. Take it deep. Exhale, try and relax and pull a bit deeper. Flex the right foot. Gently take it back. Left hand down on the mat. Push into the ground for support. So coming into that modified pigeon if you know you need it. So that's just pushing back, dropping the hips. 90-degree angle in the front leg, 90-degree angle in the back leg. The back leg can draw in a bit more and then you can lean forward over the left thigh, the left shin, or you're going to walk your left foot to the right side of the mat. Drop the left knee down. Knee and ankle are both in line with the wrists. You tuck the back foot under, pull the left hip back and the right hip forward to square off the hips. If you lift up, maybe you can take your hands to your hips. They're both in line with each other. One's not pulling back. Drop the knee and tuck the toe. Slide the back knee away from you. Stay up on your hands. Make sure this back knee and back hip heel is in line with the top of the femur. Maybe come down to your forearms or to your forehead. We begin the 5 breaths now. Really pull that left hip back if you've come down to your forearms. Take your awareness to your left hip, try and soften it. Relax the muscles in your face. Two more breaths. Last breath in. Exhale through the mouth, have a sense of letting go if you relax a bit more. Press into the hands, shoulders over wrists. Tuck the back foot under, lift up, drag the back knee, and come into your child's pose. You can take extended child's pose, hands forward, or you can take more restorative version with the hands back. Try and have your sit bones on your heels. Just relaxing the hips, moving from side to side. And gently bringing your chest over your thighs, over your hips. Lifting up, lifting the body up. Come into a seated position on your mat. So you can either rest on a block, knees together, knees slightly apart, or you can come into a seated position with the legs crossed. Whatever is comfortable for you, or you can sit back on your heels. We're just going to take 5 breaths where we either are constantly relaxing the pelvic floor if you believe your pelvic floor has too much tension in it, or we're going to just focus on strengthening the pelvic floor, or that balance of breathing in and out and relaxing it and engaging it. So do what you feel that you need to do for your body and for your pelvic floor. Just taking 5 breaths in and out. Take awareness to your hips. How do your hips feel now? Notice your posture. Relax your face. Last breath in. Last breath out, long and controlled. Take this class for as many times as you need. I hope these hip stretches benefit you and you're feeling great and open and flexible now. Thank you for practicing with me.